Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. Today we will discuss whether General VK Singh's statement on LAC transgressions will trigger a controversy. Union Minister and former Army Chief General VK Singh has perhaps said what should not have been said publicly, even if we take it on face value. He has said that Indian troops have transgressed the line of actual control more than the Chinese. He was obviously talking in the context of divergent perceptions about the line of actual control. But China has caught hold of this statement and said that it was, quote unquote, unwitting confession of frequent acts of trespass by India. So what does it mean? Does this give China a handle to portray India as an aggressor? We will try to analyze this in the agenda today. We have with us former Deputy Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh and retired diplomat Ambassador Deepak Vora. But before we begin our conversation, let's have a look at this small report.
Union Minister of State for Road Transport and Highways and former Army Chief General VK Singh has said that India has transgressed the line of actual control or LAC more often than the Chinese side as per India's perception of the LAC. He has said, and I quote, "None of you come to know how many times you have transgressed as per our perception. We don't announce it. Chinese media does not cover it. Let me assure you, if China has transgressed 10 times, we must have done it at least 50 times, as per our perception." General Singh has served as the Chief of Army Staff for around 2 years till May 2012, and hence his comments have added value. China has reacted to General Singh's comment. Its Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Bin said, and I quote, "This is an unwitting confession by the Indian side. For a long time, the Indian side has conducted frequent acts of trespass in the border area in an attempt to encroach on China's territory and constantly created disputes and frictions, which is the root cause of tensions at the China-India border. Indian government has always maintained that India has never undertaken any action across the LAC. India reiterated the same position after the Galwan Valley incident of June last year, when a physical clash took place between soldiers of India and China, in which 20 Indian soldiers and an unspecified number of Chinese troops were killed. Therefore, General Singh's comment, although in the context of differing perceptions regarding the LAC, are at variance with the government's official and stated position. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guest General Gurmeet Singh and Ambassador Deepak Vora. Welcome to the program, both of you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Delighted.
So I will first go to General Gurmeet Singh about General VK Singh's statement on LAC transgressions. How do you see it, the statement?
Firstly, what General VK Singh has told, it's absolutely a fact, and he said it in the broader perspective of it, and Chinese are unnecessarily trying to divert it to their advantage in the current scenario. That must be understood. He was very clear about it. He said that the border has never been demarcated. He said that both sides have been transgressing up to LAC and that too up to the respective perception. And he said that China has been attempting to expand its area by taking advantage of the difference in perception of LAC. So these are the facts. And he said that he also related to when asked, actually this was a response to a question in Madurai.
Yeah.
And he was answering this, and he said, if you take stock of the number of times the transgression is there, then if China is 10 times, it could be 50%, 50 times more from that platform. He was just giving a comparative aspect. But the key aspect is that he stated the fact that we have had this problem for a pretty long time. We got a differing area of perception. Both sides have been transgressing, and we transgressed up to perception of LAC. That is the point what he conveyed. But what the Chinese have done, they absolutely diverted it in relation to what the scene is today, what the border standoff is, And Global Time, who she's in, who's the editor-in-chief, in fact, he gave a different angle to it to say that the India has broken the border status quo. China has to respond to it. Whereas the fact of 2020 is that it's China which started the activities in Eastern Ladakh. They are the one who dishonored the border agreement. They are the one who attempted to change the status quo, and that's how the scene of 2020 had come up. In fact, I would go to the extent of also saying that even the Chinese Foreign Ministry Wang Wenbin, he is also look at the attempt to divert the thing. At this statement, he is trying to urge that Indian side should follow through the.
But General, that is my question actually. Has General Singh given a handle to Chinese? China has been looking for that handle.
No, I don't agree with you. This is no handle. In fact, they must read the statement in the correct perspective. And what General VK has said is actually the facts on the ground. And he was talking from a bigger perspective. Whereas China is trying to take a cue, China is trying to divert relating to the present border standoff which is going on.
Right.
And I think that's a wrong approach to the whole aspect of it.
Right. So I'll go to Ambassador Vora. He's waiting in the wings for his remarks. So what do you say? So has it not given, I mean, we know it's a fact, but there are facts which you don't speak up or speak publicly. Ambassador Vora.
First of all, Mr. Kaul, thank you very much. Always an honor to learn from a person of your experience and intelligence. And also what a privilege to be with General Gurmeet, outstanding son of India, whom I've always admired. Sir, General VK Singh is a brilliant officer. He is an outstanding human being and a great son of India. His reported remarks refer to the differing perceptions of the line of actual control and the border. Even when we patrol on territory that is ours, the Chinese say that we have trespassed.
Right.
If we listen to China, sir, soon its 9-dash line in the South and East China Seas will become a 200-dashed line to encompass the world and the 200 countries that have been attacked by the Chinese virus. So the Chinese will turn around and say, you see, we have given you the virus, now you belong to us. The line of actual control, as General Gurmeet will bear me out, sir, is a demarcation line that separates our territory from our territory occupied illegally by China. This is part of the dispute. We are clear that the line of actual control is 3,488 kilometers long. The Chinese side is only about 2,000 kilometers long. So since it has never been clearly demarcated, the question of trespassing doesn't arise. What General VK Singh meant, and I think he meant it very, very clearly, his remarks, of course the Chinese will twist anybody's remarks. If you say the sun is shining, the Chinese will turn and see, these fellows are trying to steal the sun from us. What he has said is that we patrol in our own territory. What is wrong with that, sir? You know the LAC has the eastern sector, the middle sector and the western sector. Now apparently, the line of actual control, the term was first supposed to have been used by a character called Zhou Enlai in a 1959 letter to Jawaharlal Nehru, and subsequently came to refer to the line of control after the 1962 war. It's part of the dispute. Now, again, during the Dolam crisis in 2017, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman says India should abide by the 1959 LAC. What is this? 1962 China. Sir, please, this is very, very important. 1962, they cross into Indian territory. Then they say, okay, we've achieved what we want. We are now going back. Therefore, their great leader, the biggest mass murderer in history, a fellow called Mao Zedong, he accepts that where we are now is Chinese territory where they are sitting and the rest is Indian territory. So where is the conflict? According to them, they are trying to change Mao Zedong's acceptance of the LAC. I don't understand this. What General VK Singh has said very clearly, we patrol in what is our territory. What's wrong with that? Let that global times, sir, you call it the global times. I call it the Goebbels times. Goebbels was Hitler's propaganda minister. This kind of nonsense will go on. Their foreign ministry chaps think that they are scoring a point. It means nothing for professional diplomats and for professional soldiers. Nobody in the world takes China seriously, period.
Okay, General Gurmeet, as we discussed earlier also that, of course, General VK Singh was talking about in the context of perception of LAC, where LAC lies. So from the Chinese perspective, maybe we were transgressing. But from the Indian perspective, we were not transgressing, we were patrolling, as Ambassador Vora pointed out. But at the same time, China, ever since this, in fact, earlier also, but ever since this current standoff began, it has been looking for an excuse to portray India as an aggressor. So in that context, so has it got a, that's what I am again asking, handle to portray India as an aggressor, that see, India has been doing this all the time?
Ajay, you are absolutely right. Prominently, if we look at the turn of the event from April 2020, we have seen that China has been absolutely far away from truth. In fact, I don't know why, but they have adopted a principle of propaganda and lies. As a superpower, as a great power, or as a big country, they should not be doing that. But that is a fact that China is taken the path of lie, propaganda, so it's very difficult to trust what they say. In fact, when you relate it to the global time, the way they peddle propaganda, psychological war, media war, they have lost their credibility. Now, I have been dealing with this subject for pretty long, and let me be very honest about it, that India has never ever crossed the LAC, our perception of LAC. And firstly, let's look at it, that LAC perception of both sides are differing. Because it is differing, so there is areas of differing perception.
So since you are,
there was attempt to change the map.
So for the benefit of our viewers, maybe you can explain this difference.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
See, I was also part of the team which had changed the maps of the middle sector, that is the Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, where we have got less problems as far as the LAC perception. So we have changed the map, so both sides knows what the perceptions are. So when we had gone next to Beijing to exchange the map of the western sector, that the eastern Ladakh, but the number of area of differing perceptions were more, so maps were not exchanged, and we never graduated to the area of eastern sector as far as exchange of perception is concerned. So the status is that we have a differing perception of LAC. On the differing perception of LAC, we've got different areas of differing perception. Like you see, North Bank of Pangangso, South Bank of Pangangso, and there are few more areas of that nature, 10 to somewhere around 10 plus areas are there. So whenever our patrols go up to our perception and this is cross their perception, so that is counted as transgression. Transgression means that you go, touch up to your perception of LAC and then come back. So whenever transgression happens or we notice the Chinese have transgressed, we register it in the next flag meeting or border personal meeting. You would recall that in the period of 2016 to 2018, there were 1,025 transgressions by the Chinese side. In 2016, it was 273. In 2017, 426. And 2018, 726. Similarly, they also registered their perception. That's exactly what General was saying, General VK, that perception of what they allege that we have transgressed is more. But principally, both the foreign ministry and the global times, which actually speaks on the behalf of the Chinese government, has taken it totally in an untruth way and have tried to divert it from the realities on the ground. The entire world knows what happened in April and the May of this year. In fact, we also seen that in June, where 20 brave soldiers of ours, do you know, 1 Mahavir Chakra and 5 Veer Chakras have been given to the bravest of the brave.
Right.
Because they did not permit the Chinese to change the status quo of LAC. We will never permit the Chinese to change the LOC. That message should be very clear. And also, they were trying to be cheeky. They were trying to be cheeky in the sense that they were saying that what Prime Minister said on June 19th, when he was talking to the all political parties, he said nobody occupied our area, no post had gone, and no status quo is changed. That he was relating to Galwan Valley, and he was categorical about that. But then they have stooped so long, take a wrong meaning of it. And you know, I feel very surprised when I analyze what the Chinese Foreign Ministry has said. They are telling us, they are urging us to follow the consensus agreement and treaties when on 20th June They violated it. They disrespected it.
They violated all
dishonored.
treaties. They violated all treaties.
Dishonored the agreements,
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell us to uphold peace and stability in border region. And look at it. In fact, it is they who increased the activity. It is they who attempted to change the status quo. It is they who are not moving back from the area which we said that they must move back and restore the status quo. I think instead of getting into this clever move, clever diversion, it is important that after 9 months of the status, the standoff which is there, they should be truthful rather than trying to twist and divert the facts.
Right. Ambassador Vora, as you heard in detail what General Gurmeet said, so propaganda is actually, as we know, China's is part of its strategy, military strategy, diplomatic strategy. What do you say?
I couldn't agree more with the General. I mean, he's put it across brilliantly. General sir, well done. I couldn't express it more cogently than you have. The much maligned Jawaharlal Nehru during the Sino-Indian War of 1962, when you and I sent him that letter in 59 saying this is the line of control, Nehru refused to recognize it. So may I quote what he has said?
Yeah.
We forget this. He says there is no sense or meaning in the Chinese offer to withdraw 20 kilometers from what they call the line of control. What is this line of control? Is this the line they have created by aggression since the beginning of September 1962? Advancing 40 or 60 kilometers by blatant military aggression and offering to withdraw 20 kilometers provided both sides do this, is a deceptive device, he said, that can fool nobody. 60 kilometers. मैं बड़ा बहादुर हूँ, मैं 20 किलोमीटर वापस जा रहा हूँ. What kind of nonsense?
I think they try to do the
sir,
same.
Let me complete that, sir. Let me complete it, sir.
No, this is related.
So
that's
this is how matters. This is how matters remained, sir, till 2013, when the Chinese PLA intruded into the Depsang region and made fresh border claims. You know, people talk about all this Chinese brilliance and so on and strategy. The Chinese have no strategy. The Chinese have no tactics. The Chinese have no intelligence. Other than that, they are wonderful leaders. May I just put it across to you very, very bluntly, sir? As General Gurmeet said, 20 of our sons who laid down their lives, they made the world realize that China is a paper dragon. Mr. Kaul, I say this with full responsibility, that China lost India, China lost the world, because they had told their own people that the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, is invincible. Now it is time for the People's Liberation Army to liberate the people of China from the communists. Said they are invincible, and when we thrashed them, the world stood up. Sir, I'm special advisor in 3 African countries. All 3 heads of government asked me and said to me, well done, India. You have shown the world that the Chinese are all bluster and bluff and nothing else. And I'm quoting with responsibility these 3 leaders of government in the 3 countries in Africa that I'm privileged to serve.
Right.
So therefore, what has happened is the Chinese are incapable of fooling anybody. Sir, may I just add, if you give me another minute, General Gurmeet may be interested in this. The Chinese template is very, very clear. First, when they want something, they will try to use influence and talk of this nonsense called win-win. I will win, you will win. Basically, it means I will win and you will lose. When that doesn't work, they try economic inducements. When that doesn't work, they use the military threat. When that doesn't work, they will use bluster. हम ये कर देंगे, हम वो कर देंगे. जब वो भी नहीं चलता, then they start crying, as their foreign minister went off to Malaysia last year, towards the end of last year, and said, देखो जी, India और America मिलके हमारी पिटाई करने वाले. What kind of nonsense? Who are they fooling, sir? So let me just put it across to you. What General V.K. Singh has said is absolutely right. We patrol our own territory. What he said was, if you think that we don't patrol, that's not true. We do. If the Chinese claim it is theirs, well, too bad for them. You leave it to the Chinese. New Delhi is also part of what they call southern Tibet, sir. Nobody takes them, sir. They're a bunch of jokers on that side, sir.
Right. General Gurmeet.
Sorry for the strong words, sir.
No. General Gurmeet Singh, as you heard Ambassador Vora, he narrated about the incident about 62. You came in 40 kilometers and wanted to withdraw 20 kilometers. Would I be wrong if I say they tried to do the same this time in May in Ladakh?
See, one thing has not changed as far as China is concerned. That is their expansionism. That is the, I will say, the Islamic slicing processes which they've been following. They first came into Tibet, then came into Siachen, and then trying to inch forward every year. We have seen it more precisely from 2013, 14, 2017, and now was the attempt. In fact, what has surprised the world, and I will say as an Indian, is that why did they attempt to do it when the entire world was going through the pandemic? I think that is what cannot be explained of a big power or such a big country, a billion-plus country.
No, I would say, General, I would say that they used this opportunity because they thought everybody is busy with COVID, so this is the weakest time.
Absolutely, Ajay, I totally agree with you. They try to use this opportunity, and similarly, actually, they have gone into the habit of trying to take advantage of every opportunity. General VK has told something which is absolutely factual, which is truthful statement, and he's given perception based on he's a former army chief.
Yeah.
He's a union minister. He means every word. In India, the leaders of his stature, they weigh each and every word and then they say. Not like Chinese spokesmen or the Global Times who are trying to do it. I will say that, when one analyzes this incident, China has gone in for overstatement. Their understanding seems to be very little on actual factual things, and they're trying to divert to take advantage of even this moment they are trying to take. I would say that China must focus on disengagement, de-escalation, and restoring the status quo because they were wrong. Actually, another aspect is that China is under pressure. They are the one who started this activity. They are in the process of face saving. They have made a mistake. Actually, they made a blunder, And on the Indian side, if you see, we are in a dominating position at the moment. So they are trying to find a reason. They are trying to invent a reason. They are trying to distort the thing. And I think that is what is happening. And actually, in this particular situation, China should avoid, misreading, because any misreading will create a difficult situation, definitely in this situation.
Right. So, General Gurmeet, you earlier mentioned about that establishing the perception. So, I guess it means that Indian Army patrols up to a point where it perceives that is the LAC. Am I right?
You are very correct. I must compliment you for asking such a pinpointed question. See, it is in 1976 that we had drawn the LOP or the limit of patrolling, so which ran approximately as per our LAC perception.
Right.
So we have designated patrolling points. We go to those points, but at no point have we ever crossed our perception of LAC. That must be noted. But there are certain areas of differing perception where we also go, they also go. Something like North Bank of Pangangso. This perception, actually, if you go back to the roots of where can we understand what is the area of differing perception, best is 1960 border talks that India and China had. In that, they tried to describe what is their border in Eastern Ladakh from their perception, and we gave out our perception of border, which includes expansion. But when the Chinese were giving out their perception of the border, that somewhere is closer to understanding perception. Based on a very detailed consideration, very deliberate action, we had decided in 76 limit of patrolling, and we've been honoring it.
Right.
We have stood on our principles. We have stood by all the 5 agreements that we signed with them. But so dishonorably, on 15th of June 2020, Galwan Valley, they dishonored, they disrespected the agreement between India and China. Right. That is a good call. But now we have had border stand up for about 9 months. I think now the Chinese must honor the reality, not take the side of lies, propaganda, psychological warfare and media warfare. Actually, in the strategies, they follow 3 W strategies. That is a war, psychological war, media war and the legal war.
Right.
What Revered Deepak Ji had told, this 9 lines, that is the legal war that they're trying to adopt to fulfill their desires of expansionism.
Right.
I think that is what the world has woken up and given the challenge in 2020.
Right. So we had to close. One last question to Ambassador Vora. Well, as you heard General Gurmeet about the LAC perceptions differing and all that. And at the same time, I would like to point out that India, Prime Minister Modi, in fact, when he went for the first visit in 2015, He had proposed to the Chinese, let us demarcate this. Let us have
Yes.
a common ground where LAC
Absolutely.
existed. But it was rejected by Chinese. Obviously, they don't want it to be settled. What do you say? Last comment.
You're absolutely right. You've understood it perfectly. You have a lot of experience, Mr. Cole, in international affairs. This is the Chinese game, not just with us, but with all their neighbors. When the neighbors, whether it be Vietnam, be South Korea, it be Philippines, be Japan, say, all right, where is our border? Where we'll let you know tomorrow. But that tomorrow never comes. General Gurmeet, you referred to salami slicing. So may I just tell you that this term salami slicing is a form of Chinese torture that endured for 1,000 years till the 1920s. They would catch hold of a fellow and keep slicing off parts of his body. Hence this concept of salami slicing. What civilization can torture a person by cutting off parts of his body? Only the Chinese can do it. Finally, Mr. Kaul, if I sometimes tend to be tough in my language, sir, we lost our star in 1962. He was commanding First Sikh. He was captured and he was shot in cold blood, sir. So you understand the depth of my angst, my anger against these people. They cannot be trusted. Finally, sir, our foreign minister had given 9 points for normalizing relationship, and the Chinese version of the Goebbels Times has said China orders India not to link the border issue to economic cooperation. China orders India. ये समझते क्या है अपने आप को? Sir, इनकी 1 जुलाई को is going to be the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Communist Party of China, which was founded in very strange circumstances by a joker called Mao Zedong. I am concerned because this ping pong fellow is going to try to do something. Since General Gurmeet and his boys have smashed their nose in the Himalayas, he'll try something in the sea. He might want to attack Taiwan. And that is going to be the end as far as this ping pong character is concerned, sir.
No,
I'm very worried about what will happen.
No, I think the entire world is watchful, and I think Biden is also watchful. But
and while we have people like General Gurmeet, sir, India is not worried. General, thank you for protecting us.
Yeah, we are assured. Thank you both of you for participating in this debate. The time is up. Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Thank you very much.
This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.